What's up everybody? Today we have a slim 10-inch powered subwoofer by Rockville, and I know that sounds like a lot going on in a little bitty package, but let me explain. First, it is slim. So this is meant to go under seats or mount to the back of a seat and be very slim and inconspicuous, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Second is it's a 10-inch subwoofer. This says a 10-inch woofer. They also make 6.5 and 8-inch subwoofers, but I've heard the 10-inch is a sizable increase relative to bass, and I've actually ran a 10-inch before, like 8 years ago from Rockville, and it sounded pretty darn good. Now it's not gonna blow your windows out of your car, it's just gonna add a little bit of bass, which is exactly what I want. Now third is it's a powered subwoofer, so that means it has an integral amp. Here are all of your hookups. So it's a full package in one unit, so you don't have to have like an amp and a sub, which I think is really cool and a lot cleaner in my opinion. So today, we're gonna install this on my Toyota Tundra. I'll let you know exactly how it goes, how it sounds, and if it's worth your money. So if you want this, it's down in the description below, everything that I use today. Nevertheless, let's knock it out. So here is everything we'll use today. So first is the slim powered subwoofer. So here are some of the settings that come on this. You have your phase, auto power on, low pass filter, bass boost, input gain. I'll likely only use the low pass filter, which is where you pick your frequencies that you want the subwoofer to pick up. I'll probably leave bass boost alone, maybe a little bit of input gain. But we have this option right here, which is the remote option where you can control your bass levels via remote, and we'll put that up by the driver's seat. You also have your input right here, which is where you can either do the wired connection with a harness provided or some RCA cables. We'll see what my head unit has. It is aftermarket. Then you also have your ground in remote wire, which also tells this to turn on, and then the power from your battery. So very simple, and it comes with a little bit of hardware for mounting and wiring. But what it doesn't come with is an actual wiring kit. So I actually bought this from Kicker. Rockville has a much cheaper option, which I'll put in the link below. But I'm impatient and I bought a much more expensive kit. So this is rated for 1500 watts. It's 4-gauge wire, but it's very high quality, has nice braided lines, and looks really, really clean. So let's check it out. Relative to the backseat of a truck, you can tell this thing is a very small package. And although the controls and tuning are on this side, I do plan to install it backwards like this. So that nice clean front face is exposed only. As you can tell, it looks factory and takes up no room in the back seat of a truck. Typically with an aftermarket radio, you'll have a blue wire with a white line. That's your remote wire, which you will want to tap into. You'll also see I only have one output RCA. That is very common for modern day head units. So you'll see I just put one RCA into it and it works perfectly fine. And just like that, we have our fuse connection. That was pretty easy. Now it was pretty hard to record last night doing all of this wiring, but we have the power cable right here. That goes through the firewall. There's a bunch of rubber grommets, typically on vehicles where you just cut off a nipple like this. It gives you a new hole to go through to the cab. I don't recommend going through body panels, and I don't necessarily recommend drilling into your firewall. For the radio, I did run all of my cabling down back behind it, popped it out over here, set my subwoofer control right there where it's a little inconspicuous, and then along with the power cord, I grabbed them all and ran them right underneath this plastic shroud. Continued all the wiring underneath here, ended up removing this, and I was able to pop out all the wiring nice and cleanly through the back. So we have all of our wiring ready to go. Let's go prep the sub for install. Now one mistake I did make is order too big of wiring. I just figured this was overkill. I was looking at some wiring charts and I guess I got it wrong. The holes that receive this wiring is definitely smaller, so I'll leave the correct size in the description below. Okay, when mounting the sub, I did run into one hiccup. So like a lot of trucks, when these seats come down, you can see it actually swings a little bit into that cavity. So if you set the sub out there, no rubbing whatsoever, but as you slide this back, as I like it about right there, it does rub just a tad where you need to push down on the seat. Now what I did There's some metal supports in here. I did hit those in a little bit and it rubs a lot less. So just be mindful when you're measuring for this sub, especially when you're putting it in the back seat of a pickup truck. Okay, when you go to turn your truck on, a lot of times with some of these aftermarket radios, they have an option for an amplifier, which is kind of embedded within your equalizer. So for me right here, it shows sub, and you have to turn that on, and that will allow the signal to kind of drive to the back and get to your subwoofer. All right, let's get a song going, because it sounds crazy. All right, so this is it off. It's crazy. Now that is a wrap. We just finished up the install on my truck, and I have to let you know, it sounds amazing. It's really hard to convey that through a camera, but it sounds super clean, and you can actually feel the bass like pretty well in your chest. Now to set expectations and let you know if I would buy this is, yes, I would buy it, 100% recommend. It really does a good job filling in those low-end voids that your factory system just can't handle. Now, is it gonna let the people next to you know that you're playing music and feel the thump? No. It's just too small of a unit to pack that much power. Now this sounds really, really good, sounds clean, and it packs a punch for what it is, and I'm very, very impressed with it. So 10 out of 10 recommend. I learned a lot along the way. Now, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment down below. Till then, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.